Hello everyone and welcome to Sell Me a Movie. On this channel, of course, what we do is we go over movie reviews that are either newly released in theaters, been in theaters for a while, streaming, or quite possibly movies that have been around for decades. That's why we always ask you to leave your comment down below to see what movie you would like me to watch, and then follow up with the review on it. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, follow us on all social platforms, because all assistance helps. And speaking of assistance, make sure that you check out the website or the link below for the website. That's where we're going to have, of course, t-shirts, mugs, stuff like that, because all proceeds go to help making this channel possible. And with that in mind, what we are going to be doing is discussing Wonka.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
Now, Wonka actually came out during the Christmas season of 2023. It is directed by Paul King, who's done Paddington Bear 1 and 2. It does star Timothée Chalamet. It does have Tom Davis. It has Olivia Colman, who plays Mrs. Scrubbit. Patterson Joseph, who plays Slugworth. Kala Lane, who plays Noodle. Matt Lucas, who plays Proudnose. Matthew Bainton, who plays Finkelgruber. You do have Keegan-Michael Key, of course, from Key and Peele. He plays the chief of police. You have Rakhi Thakrar. Sorry if I mispronounced that last name, but she plays Lottie. Jim Carter, who plays Abacus Crunch. And as well as Mr. Bean is in this film too. And of course, we cannot forget about, of course, Hugh Grant, who plays the Oompa Loompa in this film. Now, Wonka is a predecessor to the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from 1971, starring Gene Wilder, of course. And what the biggest difference and takeaway from this film versus the Gene Wilder film is the fact that this is actually a musical. Yes, there was some singing numbers in the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, but not as much as what this film has. Now, Timothée Chalamet does a wonderful job doing the singing. He plays more of a charismatic, more loving, as well as overall lovable Willy Wonka in this film. More so than, of course, Gene Wilder. Don't get me wrong. Wonka obviously may grow up to be more like Gene Wilder's character, but what we know from Wonka right now is he's fun, loving, very generous guy, really young kid who just wants to explore the world, create his creations, and make his mother proud. When we do get introduced to Wonka, he is sailing on the sea to a specific city where three of the most and biggest chocolatiers are located, and he wants to bring his chocolate creations to that town. Of course, the three big headshots don't like that concept, don't like that idea, so they try to run Wonka out of town. Also, during the process, too, he is living with Mrs. Scrubbit, as well as her henchman, because there's only one, and they kind of, how can I put this? They do the dirty work of the chocolatier. So anybody who comes to town and wants to create their own chocolate factory, wants to be in competition with the three head honchos, they kind of put them in their little apartment complex, and when they sign the dotted line, there's so many not really discrepancies, but things and small details in the contract that they sign that they're not aware of. Like, the one night may cost, I guess, let's say $1, but by the end of the day, when they go to check out, they actually owe $10,000, and that's because of all the hidden details. So that's kind of how they play the game. The only way to get out of that is, of course, to work for those individuals to get out of debt. And that's kind of what we see Wonka happen, but we do find out that Wonka can't read, and that's kind of what gets him in this predicament. Overall, I do like this film. It was highly enjoyable and something that I recommend for all families. It was very fun and entertaining. The music was pretty good as well. Like I said, Timothée Chalamet does a wonderful job singing. Hugh Grant plays a wonderful and loving Oompa Loompa. The only thing that I did not quite like is the fact that you had Mrs. Scrubbit and that side story mixed with the head honchos, with the chocolatiers, and the competition with Wonka and them. Honestly, all bets aside and everything aside, I kind of wish that they kept Mrs. Scrubbit out of the picture and kind of developed a little bit more of Wonka and seeing more of his contraptions, trying to get more into competition with the chocolatiers, because that is kind of what, you know, you're kind of wanting to see throughout the film. During those processes and during those sequences, I was more into the film than what Wonka and Mrs. Scrubbit, those sequences were. And of course with Noodle and stuff, though Noodle plays a very important part, and when I say Noodle, she is a character within the film, becomes Wonka's best friend. As stated many times before, it is a movie I feel like everybody should see as far as if you have a family, because it's very entertaining. So leave a comment down below. Like I said in the beginning, subscribe to the channel, follow us on all social platforms, and we'll see you guys next time for the next review.